Welcome back, friends. Episode number 88, Tiz. Can you believe it?
I know. Unbelievable.
Behind the badge here at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Rochester, New York. I got my partner here, co-host, Deputy Tisdale. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sheriff. Like I told you, went out of town, went on vacation, got
Down
to see
Carolinas?
family.
Is that where you were?
Yeah, North Carolina, bro. It was beautiful, hanging out with the family. And you know what? Sometimes, once you hang with them a little bit, enough's enough. And you're ready to come back to, what you like doing. So
Right.
I'm here.
Right. How many, so you got like a platoon. Your family's like a platoon. So how many people moved down south with you on the caravan?
Well, actually, I think it was about seven or eight of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it should have been more. But when we got down there, days of festivities and, fish fry Friday. You got, upwards of 200 plus people showing up at the dinner. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Great time, but just crazy. I wanted to come back home for relaxation.
Sure.
To deal with the grandkids, if that's
Vacation.
relaxation.
Vacation from the vacation. And how many people at the family reunion?
200 plus.
That's beautiful, though.
Yeah,
That's
it was a good time.
It's great. Keep the family name alive.
Oh, yeah.
So what traditions like that are so important. And so today we're talking about our special operations section of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. We've got Captain Bancroft with us. How you doing, Cap?
Hello, Sheriff.
Rick Bancroft.
That's right.
Right? How many years you been on the job here?
Here, 14 years.
And you're in charge of the special operations section. People
Indeed.
sounds like a Navy SEAL group or something like that, right? ForceCom's coming at us. What's the special ops? I mean, if you're going to sum up the special ops, what is it?
We support the road patrol. In summary, we have all the specialized units and teams of people that are designed to support the road for everything they would need.
And what's that mean? So support. So we got road patrol deputies out answering 911 calls, right? They're taking their calls and to support them how? So.
If you go to the worst case scenario,
right.
cops worst day, they have a hostage rescue or a cop goes down in a situation that is unsafe for a regular road patrol officer to get to, then we call the SWAT team in. And the SWAT team would respond with their special equipment and training to extract that hostage or that officer that needs rescuing.
Gotcha. And the special ops of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office just has so many great supporting elements, and some are full-time, some work for you full-time, other are part-time and only, come together either for training or for when the bell rings, right? Like a SWAT team. We don't have a full-time SWAT team. But what other units are full-time inside the special ops?
The Community Engagement Division is here. I know it's near and dear to your administration for getting to the community and talking to them and just being friendly and connecting with them, learning about what they want to need.
Right.
We've got the airport unit. A very large unit, one of our largest parks unit for the county parks, marine unit, the mounted unit for the horses, and the traffic unit for the daytime and nighttime traffic unit, and the commercial vehicle unit is part of that as well. It's
amazing, and the list goes on and on. We're going to share some pictures here in a minute and just maybe go deeper dive into each one of those. No pun intended with the scuba team, but the idea is let's illustrate some of these great guys and gals that work for us and what they do to support patrol and ultimately the community.
Yeah, and I didn't realize a lot of it as well was, like you said, the part-time side of it as well, with the parks and different things like that. And people don't realize sometimes they think it's guys that's there all the time, and they don't realize that it is filled with part-time positions or people that come in. And could you go over a little bit about the part-time side of it?
Well, special operations with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is unique that we have more part-time deputies than full-time deputies. Our authorized strength is 56 part-time deputies because they work part-time and they fill some much-needed roles. And we have 42 full-time deputies that work alongside them to round out the roster. The part-time deputies are exclusively assigned to our parks and our mounted and marine unit. So those three units, parks, mounted, and marine, are exclusively part-time deputies, but are supported by one full-time sergeant and one full-time deputy.
Who's the full-time deputy running that?
Deputy Smallwood.
Oh, okay, that's right. As an administrator of a sheriff's office, a 1,000-person organization, the part-time staff is incredible from the standpoint it brings usually a lot of experience, a lot of retired guys and gals that come back, maybe other jurisdictions they worked for, so they're bringing new ideas and new concepts.
For sure.
And they fill that gap quite often, in particular in the parks, which could be troublesome if you don't police them the right way. But also you got to have that right deputy to be up there that you're not over policing the park because families are out just trying to have a good time and, and have a picnic and things like that. But I like them because they bring it's almost like a reserve unit for the Army. The Army has full-time soldiers and they're very, very good at what they do, but a reserve unit brings expertise and experiences that they do in their other job, right? Or they have other jobs. So I always think about that with our part-timers. They bring a richness
Right.
To us.
Yeah, I like how you put that.
Yeah, thanks. And that's why you're Employee of the Month right there, Captain. Just concur with the sheriff. Everything goes well. Everything goes well. Well, we got this innovative thing called the TV right behind me on my left-hand shoulder. And just I wanted to share a few photos. Maybe we could take a deeper dive into some of these pictures of what a special operations section does and how they support patrol. And one of the first pictures looks like our traffic unit, right? Mm-hmm. And a ghost out car. So let's talk about what's the traffic unit doing? Why is the taxpayer paying for a traffic unit?
Well, their focus is traffic enforcement. From the worst of reckless driving or vehicular manslaughter, out of a crash, for example, to just standard speeding complaints or crosswalk violations. Mm-hmm. I know Pittsford Village has some significant crashes in the past with crosswalks, so they spend time in the village of Pittsford or anywhere that needs crosswalk enforcement to catch the violators when they make an unsafe decision. So we have a daytime traffic and a nighttime traffic. Their primary response is just that. They don't take calls for service unless it's a bad crash to support the patrol.
Right.
But generally speaking, they're proactive, looking for the violators and making the stops as appropriate.
Now, I know a lot of people, and they probably look at the car in the photo, and they probably wonder, what is it with the ghost out appearance? I mean, majority cops, cop cars or policeman cars or whatever you want to call them out there, they're decorated. You know what I mean?
High visibility.
Yeah. And is a reason for that just for the appearance wise, or is it the reason of just cost cutting?
Neither. It's actually, you consider it a hybrid, right? Everybody understands the concept of an undercover car, right? You really want to sneak up. You
Right.
don't want to be noticed. And we understand the concept of high visibility. You want to fly the colors. Hey, here we are, and look what we're doing. We're watching, and we're keeping you safe. So this is a hybrid model. The ghost car, you look at it. If you don't look at it long enough, you might not notice it's a police car.
Right.
So there is an advantage to a proactive unit that's choosing to find the violators. If they're in a vehicle such as this, they're not as easily noticed, so the violator might be more easily caught. But if you look long enough, the general public will understand, oh, wait a minute, that is actually a cop car. So we call this a hybrid model, the ghost model. That ghosted lettering you can barely see off to the right is reflective, so at night you'll still see it. But it's designed to be a hybrid, partially undercover and partially marked.
And it works great for distracted driving, texting while driving. If you got a marked patrol car next to you on 390, you're probably going to bury the phone, right? But if you see this thing, and you might not notice it driving right next to you, you got the phone up to your nose.
Indeed.
And texting,
Yeah, because I thought that was an interesting thing that some people would probably ask when if they seen a car like that or seen that picture, So that's I like that. I like that what you said. A lot of info coming out from that, and then I like the cars. They're sharp. I love them.
Yeah, they're sharp. They're definitely something to be proud of. So if you don't recognize this, our airport, International Airport, Freddie Douglass. So why special ops? So what's special ops have to do with Monroe County Airport?
Well, it's a unique operation where it requires the cooperation of multiple people, multiple teams. So you have full-time deputies and full-time sergeants assigned on the inside of the airport, and you have part-time deputies that work on the outside of the airport, the physical exterior of the building, the perimeter checks, the ramp checks. You see them on the entrance roads where you go to drop off or pick up people. Mm-hmm. Those are part-time deputies inside of the full-time deputies. There's a canine component here as well with the Transportation Safety Administration, TSA. They have bomb-sniffing canines. They also can sniff out drugs. The nitrates as well. Drug sniffing is a different environment, but those dogs at the airport are just for nitrates.
Right.
Gun residue, bomb residue, ammunition residue, things like that.
Keep the plane safe.
Absolutely.
That's their primary objective. And pretty interesting, we work with the TSA, we work with the federal marshals, we work with a whole lot of agencies to keep the airport and the flights is safe and secure, the bomb sniffing dogs, if you will. And then the other end of that, sometimes we got to work with unruly passengers and escorting them off. We've all seen videos recently of an unruly passenger getting escorted off a 737.
It happens almost once a day.
Does it really?
It's pretty. You'd be surprised how frequent it is.
In Rochester, once a day.
Passengers are upset about their baggage fees, or they lost their baggage, or they can't drink to go on the plane, or something that most people would not bat an eye about not doing, but then we have to step in and remind them you actually can't do that.
Right. Yeah, and there's very strict regulations at the federal, did I mention airport? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Federal airport. And that's a great public relations tool too. When we got those dogs out there, they're not big German shepherds, or anything. They're nice looking dogs, and they're wandering around the tarmac, or they're wandering around inside the actual airport, and people love them. People love seeing them. It makes them feel safe and secure, and knowing that people are checking out for their safety as they're flying.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty incredible. I like it. Oh, my favorite unit, I think, and I'm a SWAT guy for 19 years, so I shouldn't have said that on the air, but our drone unit. I really challenged Chief Deputy Mike Fowler. It came almost to a point of a joke. Every time we had a significant incident, like, are the drones up? Where's the drones? Where's the drones? And I challenged the special ops section. I want the best drone unit in New York State. If not, why not the best drone unit in the country? And I think they've come in pretty damn close. If not, they're pushing the envelope. And it's such an encouragement, because we talked to the drone unit members on this show, what they bring to the table, the force multiplier, the safety, and all that. But so how about you just dig in a little from your special ops captain position, what the drone unit does for you and what their capabilities are?
Boy, the drone unit is absolutely huge. Right now it's staffed by 2 full-time members, and they have not part-time deputies, but they're full-time deputies with a part-time add-on assignment where they'll come to the drone unit to support the team. But we do have 2 deputies that do nothing but drone all the time, because there's so much to the acquisition, the maintenance, the training, the logging with the FAA. There's a lot that goes into the drone unit, much more than anticipated before I walked into the spot.
Right.
Much, much more. And eventually we're going to hopefully roll out field drones, where we'll have cars in the field, frontline road deputies taking calls for service. It'll be trained to throw up a quick drone until the actual full-fledged drone team can get there.
Oh, that's cool. That's like in like search and rescue type things, or that can aid in with the drones. And
Exactly.
you're talking to a guy that's an avid drone lover, and I've got quite a few myself, and I love the added effect that this adds to the department. And as we've seen, what different things that we've had going on in the community, different things, how that aided us in knowing what's going on in certain areas, what's not going on in another area, and a huge added to the sheriff's department.
One of the things I didn't anticipate was they used them in a fire not too long ago out in Penfield or Parrington, and just getting the firefighters a real snapshot of where the fire is through all the smoke. You know, the drones that are able to penetrate that with their cameras and show the firefighters where they dump the water, as opposed to just chasing the smoke that might be billowing in the wind, right?
Reading thermographs, they call it, is truly an art.
Yeah.
I didn't realize till I joined this unit how much there is to know,
Right.
and how much I currently not know
Yeah.
when it comes to reading those thermographs. It's very complicated.
And that's why we hire smart people.
Absolutely.
That's right. and again, if you want to make something the best, you got to get the right people in it. I think you get your members of the drone unit, both full-time and part-time, they're second to none. And then you got to give them the resources. It's not a cheap proposition by any means, but the force multiplier. When your autistic kid's missing, or your elderly adult, grandfather has wandered away and it's getting cold outside and the sun's starting to set, or you're looking for a fugitive that just maybe fired a couple rounds at a sheriff's deputy and he's up in a wood line. And this goes on, but even with the firefighting capabilities and motor vehicle accident reconstruction and crime scene management, they use them for everything. It's pretty amazing.
You talked about the cost in getting these guys up in the air, but when you think about accident reconstruction, for example, typical accident reconstruction without the drone unit would take 4 hours minimum, 6 maybe, with just on the ground.
All those measurements, all those pictures, all those. Yep.
And then the drone can just come in and with the proper software package and hardware package can just fly over a couple of times and then help you draw your diagrams automatically.
Reconstructing a motor vehicle accident with a death involved is, a very intense labor. And just a force multiplier again. Negotiators, unique individuals. Being a SWAT cop for my whole year, or for 19 years, I'm like, negotiators are so patient. They're so kind. They got empathy and compassion. They're very skilled. What's our negotiators doing for a living there, Cap?
They talk people out of making bad decisions.
I love that. That's perfect.
Convince them to do the right thing. Convince them to not use violence, to harm others or themselves. Without them, the SWAT team, the K-9 unit that goes in with the SWAT team, the drone unit going up in the air, these guys, you got to have them in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be your voice inside. We want to avoid using force if at all possible. We want to get them to come out voluntarily, not hurt anybody, stop shooting. These guys and gals are the ones that can make that happen.
Patience of a saint.
Yeah, so it's an amazing skill, like you said, when you can talk an individual down who's going through a crisis and more or less get that individual to comply in certain ways, and that's huge, especially with a team like this. And Sheriff, you look at the smiling faces. Is that what it takes, right?
They're all just nice human beings, aren't they? They're just swell people, except McKinney. But we'll work on that one later. But I've 19 years on a SWAT team, right, where you're constantly working with these negotiators, and their personalities are just fit for that job. To be able to talk people out, I love how you sum that up. If we can talk you out or negotiate a pizza, we'll do it all day long. What do you want, a pizza?
Absolutely.
After 19 hours of negotiation, and a pizza sounds very good, you start getting things for it really quick.
Indeed.
It's amazing. These guys are phenomenal. Our Marine unit. What are we doing with our Marine unit there, Cap?
They are patrolling the waterways of Monroe County. We do have smaller boats. That is the 29-foot. We also have a 23-foot and a 33-foot. A 33-foot's the one that just got restriped. So if you're out there and seeing the fancy blue motif with the new sheriff's design, that's the 33-footer. And we're going to put that on the 29 and the 23 in the fall, ready for next year. They patrol the waterways, Lake Ontario, out to the international line, actually.
Yep.
They can go out that far. Or the Genesee River, up to High Falls, of course. And then if you portage some of our smaller craft, you can get into the Erie Canal and everywhere else in the county.
So anything that's a waterway in Monroe County, they're patrolling or could patrol,
right,
or do rescue. They work intensely with our scuba team. That hand and glove concept of getting our scuba folks where they need to be.
How's the staff? Is that full time, or is that still the same thing? Full time, part time, mix?
The primary drivers are actually part-time deputies.
Oh, okay.
I say drivers, but they're actually vessel operators. If I was going to be precise, but they're all part-time deputies.
Okay, I mean that's interesting. It's like I said, the things you don't know, especially within the same division and everything that falls under it, man. I'm amazed.
Yeah, and they spend hours and hours out there sometimes on a search and rescue in some very nasty weather conditions on Lake Ontario, and our objective is to give them the best equipment they can have. Any of our teams that are doing this high-risk stuff, or patrol deputies, make sure they got the best vest, the best weapons, the best training. It's so imperative. But I would be proud to say I don't think we're skimping much on these boats. When these guys are out there in some of the most dangerous conditions trying to rescue or save lives, these boats are designed for safety.
Right.
Their safety, let alone get them to an objective and keep them on that objective as long as possible in some horrific weather conditions sometimes.
So they're all, you mentioned safety, they're actually made by the Safe Boat Company, all three of our biggest vessels. And they're single hull design, and they're designed to withstand a larger than a recreational craft wave. So if you're out there in a recreational boat, you might come off the water for the small craft advisory. These guys can keep going into some pretty serious gales.
Yeah. It's scary. You feel very vulnerable out there in the middle of the lake. When you look back, you're like, hey, where's land? Where'd that go? Motor unit. That's good. Helping out with traffic enforcement, parades, get places we can't get with patrol cars. A lot of objectives here.
Funeral details.
Yeah. As we've seen yesterday
right.
with Maz's funeral.
Right.
It's just a beautiful sight when you see, 20, 30, 40 Harleys just humming down the road, nice idle pace. And it's just a beautiful sight. I got tears in my eyes. So we made a great statement yesterday, by the way, and to the public of who we are and what we do in honor and tradition for Officer Maz.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, like you said, with these outfits, just helping each other and supporting each other and watching the guys on the road out there. That was an amazing sight yesterday. And, much kudos and much praise for the officer's family and everything that went into that. So, it's a hard time, in law enforcement.
Hard time. Yeah, we walked over with probably 100 deputies, so just to be very, I guess, make a statement that we are here for the RPD. We're here for law enforcement in general. It could be one of our deputies at a moment's notice.
Right.
You just don't know when or where, but and for the community to come out and recognize the procession yesterday over to the funeral or to the cemetery.
Thousands around.
Yeah, it was amazing seeing the people on top of the bridges and waving flags and just appreciating what these public servants are doing for a living.
Right.
They're willing to risk it all, unfortunately. So I laughed at the mounting unit because I did a mounting competition 2 years ago, I think, right now, with sheriffs. We called it Sheriff Showdown. We raised money for the Sheriff's Institute. So I had to learn how to ride a horse and take it through an obstacle course that our mounted folks do for a living, right? They take it through, had to walk the horse right up to a patrol car, and let the siren wail and not spook the horse and kick you off it and ride through a serpentine. And these guys are amazing. The horse and the rider are just, all they learned is such an appreciation for their skill set and their ability to work with this animal that can literally do whatever it's want and totally ignore you. It's huge. It's filled with muscle. They can do whatever it's want, but yet they're working in tandem. And how many horses we got?
We got 6 horses.
6 horses?
This one here is our second largest. It was our largest. This is Cass. Our second largest horse now. Our largest horse is now Clyde.
Clyde is huge.
Both draft horses, yeah.
Wow.
Cass is our second oldest. She is a gentle, sweet spirit, and she's being ridden by Deputy Kelly Schnars, one of our part-time deputies, assigned just to the mounted unit. So she is the primary rider for Cass, and I went out there for a work day last month to get acquainted with the mounted unit, and I rode Cass, and Cass likes to tease new riders.
Oh, really?
And I had to build a relationship with Cass to be able to get around. So I have hats off to Deputy Schnars for keeping that relationship so she can ride Cass effectively.
Yeah, because Cass will do whatever the heck she wants.
She will. Yes, she will.
So I did the competition. I rode Dakota, a national championship horse that's done these competitions and won at a national level. So I had a ringer, right? I'm on this horse, and long story short, I didn't win the competition because me and Dakota just not communicate sometimes. It's like I had the best horse in the world going into the competition. But the amazing animals. You know what I found a unique thing with the mounting unit? People think crowd control and public relations. Obviously, it's a great conduit to any community. People just want to come up and see the horse. But we use them a lot for search and rescue, for missing people. You ride that through Mendon Ponds Park, and you can see so much more from up in that height and getting again the locations, not wear out the deputy. The horse is doing a lot of the labor for you. Again, just a force multiplier. A lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, that's why the importance of this, like we said, with us branching out into video. When you see with your own eyes, that goes along with us just talking, and so you see with your own eyes what each side does, and you get that recognition, and when you see it visually, and you see all the other aspects of it that the sheriff's department has to offer, and what we do offer, and Bancroft, you roll over a lot of things, brother, and I don't know how you keep your head on straight. You know what I mean?
I have 2 outstanding lieutenants.
That was the
7.
list when we started. Right? I was in charge of
And I added to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't forget the bomb guys. Community engagement. Thank you for that. You're near and dear to my heart.
But I have 2 awesome lieutenants. I could not do my work without them.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and 7 sergeants for all the bureaus.
Yeah,
that we have
a lot of moving parts in special ops. Mm-hmm. So before we go to the next picture, you already went to it, Mateo. You are fast. We need to reverse the camera because people need to see the mustache. These young guys, I can't get away with it. So our scuba unit. So another unit I got to experience. I love what you said. You went out and experienced for a day one of your specialized teams, and I try and do that also. And I think it's so important. I spent a day with our scuba guys and gals in RIT pool, in a pool in RIT, and they brought me down. They taught me how to get in. I went absolutely nuts in a pool. I mean, it was claustrophobic. Couldn't get my breathing under control, right? Couldn't find my buoyancy. And this is in a pool, a climate control pool, with everybody laughing at me.
You weren't in the major pool. You weren't in the kiddie pool.
12 foot, 12, yeah, kiddie pool. You could be, because by the time I got out of it, they thought I was in a kiddie pool. All these guys, they dive in Irondequoit Bay. They go under ice in the Genesee River to rescue people or to recover weapons. And
wow,
these guys are amazingly brave people. I did SWAT, like I said, for the 4th time, and I always knew what the threat was. The threat was somewhere out there, right? But these guys are going into murky water with currents, with ice above you. You go in one hole, you got to come out the same hole, or you're not going to come out, right?
A lot of folks don't realize when they dive in a real world mission, they can't see.
Right.
Whether it's the Erie Canal or the Genesee River or the lake.
Yeah.
You're going to have 3 feet in front of you. It's just so cloudy.
Ooh. And again, just brave people. But I watched one of my first, probably a couple of weeks as sheriff. There was a drowning in Erie Canal of a beautiful, a young child, and one of our detectives, who's on the scuba unit, was around the corner, happened to be around the corner, and they carry emergency bottles in the trunk of their cars and a mask, and they've trained with our firefighters from almost every jurisdiction. All they need is someone to tender a rope for their safety, and they're going to go in that water before the scuba team comes. I still get chills because that's exactly what he did. The detective dove in the Erie Canal trying to save that kid, and you can get tangled up on a whole lot of crap in the Erie Canal and maybe not come back up. But with the rescue bottle out of the trunk of your car, a mask, and a firefighter with a rope, they're going to jump in as quick as they can. Those are heroes. These are good people you got working for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So if you had the special ops, where do you see it going? I know you've been there for a while, and I know you're a very analytical person and very intelligent. So what, if you were talking to the sheriff and had a wish list, or what's next? Where do you see this special ops going?
I think it comes down to staffing and equipment. And there's a balancing act between taxpayers' money
Right.
and good fiscal responsibility, making good use of grant money when we can.
Right.
So it depends on which operation we have. There's grant money available, not for everything, but for some. And then we need a lot more part-time deputies. That's our greatest need, I think.
Yeah, which is a great plug. Part-time deputies, it's a great job. I was talking to a couple yesterday at the funeral, and they're, or guys and gals that want to get back in the game because of the loss. They feel this urge to put a uniform back on. The part-time guy, when I retire as sheriff, I'm coming back as a part-time deputy. I don't know if that's going to be plausible with the next sheriff, but the idea is the uniform's a calling, and these guys can fill that calling and still maintain their retirement and bring us expertise that we might not have had.
Absolutely. And then with the county executive authorizing a very gracious additional staffing,
Yeah.
I have a possible thinking that they could line up under tactical operations. So I haven't mentioned the warrant unit yet,
Right.
or our tactical unit. So we have a team of deputies that are always undercover.
Right.
You never know they're there, and they're designed to go catch the same kind of murderous suspects that Maz was looking to catch that night.
Right.
That's the warrant unit. And then our tactical unit, we call them our plainclothes deputies. They'll go back and forth. They'll sometimes be in uniform, sometimes not, depending upon which unit needs the assistance. So we call them that tactical unit because they're able to go out there and be a force multiplier
Right.
and help with some extra people.
Yeah, if there's a crime pattern in C zone, right, and the deputies are working there hard and the investigators, but they need additional support, you got that flexibility in your tactical unit to deploy resources.
So we'll see where the staffing shakes out with those new people when they eventually become able to be used after training and all. But I suspect the tactical unit may be a possible area where that will go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the chief deputy might have that in the back of his mind too, so you might have been reading the cards. So we finished up this podcast on a thing called the No Miranda Zone there, Cap. And no Miranda means you don't have a right to remain silent. You got to answer my questions because I'm the sheriff.
Oh, dear.
And oh dear, that's always the response. What would you say is the number one thing that you would have for dinner tonight if you had no choice? You had all choices. What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, I guess it would be vegan lasagna.
That's delicious.
Don't tell me you eat that.
Oh yeah, I'm
'Cause you're
going all natural.
Are you a vegan?
Not always.
No?
And it's not an allergic thing. It's just a choice thing. Sometimes the cholesterol, I got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
So
It's
I've
called
trained to
age.
become a healthier eater, and I make a mean homemade vegan lasagna. It's actually been a long time. I should do that.
Yeah, you should.
I'm kind of busy, though.
You should bring what? I'll get the list back out. What are you doing for a living? Each one of us has 1,000 moving parts. So can I just, because you guys both have apparently experienced vegan.
Yes,
Right?
to a certain
So
level.
the sheriff has not.
Don't get me wrong. I love meat, but I just try to eat less of it.
I'm just willing to help you out if you guys want to, get a second opinion if they're good or not. Feel free to stop up on the 6th floor and leave a piece in my refrigerator. I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. That's a challenge.
Okay.
That's a challenge.
Favorite quote or mantra you try to live by?
The golden rule is always the best for me. I come from a Bible-believing perspective, and I think you should always do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Look at it from the other person's perspective.
I like that. That's a good way to do it.
You know what? I was going to ask another question, but that's a great way to leave the story right there. If we could do that, we're going to have
Probably
a lot
need
better
less
world.
policemen if we
Less
all did
policemen,
that.
less jail cells, less
Right.
less family court, less less AA, right? Treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Amen.
And it's the golden rule for a reason. And what I found in my studies, other religions, I'm a Christian, but almost every religion has that rule, one way or another. Almost every, just treat your brother and sister, your neighbor, the way you want to be treated. We'll be a lot better place.
Amen.
Yeah. Captain, thanks for sharing. Tiz,
yeah.
always great to have you in
Oh,
the
you as
right-hand
well.
seat over here. Hope this new system works out. Got my coffee mug up here. And Cap, for all the guys and gals that work for you, that risk so much to support the rest of the patrol division, we so appreciate it. And thanks for what you're doing.
It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. And on behalf of our Special Operations Bureau, thanks for what you do to keep us safe and keep going.
Amen, brother. God bless. Till next week, everybody be safe.